Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Brian, and today I want to show you a quick fix for one of these joypads if you've got the same problem I've had in the past where the joystick's gone all floppy and you're hearing crunching coming from underneath and things. This may be the fix for you. And before we get started, I want to show another quick tip. If you're using a hot glue gun, get an old jam jar lid or something. I think this is a pickled onion jar or something, and put your hot glue gun on there, saves a lot of mess. Now, what I'm going to tell you is, before we get started, I tell you what, let's plug the hot glue gun in and let that heat up a little. Put it on high maybe. There you go. Now, the culprit usually, sometimes when you get that crunching and stuff, is this little thing. It's a little piece of plastic which holds up the edges just over the top of the click button at the side of the joystick. You'll see the little click button when you press the L3 button, that sort of thing, on your joypad. So what sometimes happens is that they fall off like this. If you open your joypad, see, and you'll find this little bugger inside, this little thing, then you know it's come off there, and then your joystick's just going all wobbly all over the place because it holds it down just above the clicky button. Now, they're easy to slide back on, but if you just slide it back on, it's just going to come off again, because what has happened is there's a little tiny piece of plastic on the top of these which clicks in. If I can find it again. It hasn't gone far, so I should be able to find it. There you go. It clicks in under a little hole just at the top, and what's happened is that little piece is snapped off, and no matter how much you sort of slot it back in, because it slots in and downwards, the only way to sort of really replace it with a new one, I think, is, I may be wrong, but I think the only way to replace it with a new one is to actually desolder this whole joystick to get it back in, basically, because it slides downwards into there. You might be able to sort of slide a new one down, I'm not sure, but maybe you could slide it down and then the top bit will sort of click into that hole. Yeah, may work, but if you haven't got a new one anyway, and I think that would be pretty hard trying to slide a new one in. Like I said, the little piece of plastic, it's like a little hook, so it hooks under, and sliding it in might not be possible. So what we're going to do today is show you how to fix it. Hot glue gun's getting nice and hot over there. What you've got to do is slide it back in like that. If you find it, just slide it back in like I just did. I'll show you again just one more time. Not that you really need to know, I don't think, but I'll show you. Just put it on there like that, and it pretty much slides down in and clicks into its place. Just clicks back into its place like that, and there you go, it's in there. But like I said, it will pop off again straight away. Pretty much you'll be playing and then it'll come out and start crunching again. And another thing, if you take apart some of these joypads, well, all of them are pretty much, well, they're different makes and models, are different inside, but all of them pretty much got these things, I think, where the two circuit boards click together with these little connectors. Now sometimes they're quite tight on there, and you've got to take that off to do this, and if you pull it too much or yank it, you might damage it. So it's best to just try it and sort of lift it up carefully and uniformly, sort of so it pops out of its socket. Don't go yanking it, don't go grabbing it and trying to yank it up sideways or anything. Try and give it a little wriggle, gentle little wriggle like that, and try and pull it up uniformly. And on this particular one there was two, and this is an old broken joypad because somebody dropped it or threw it, no names mentioned, and snapped off the one thing there. I was actually repairing it, going to repair it with wires going to the various pads, but never got round to that. Just kept it for sort of spare parts in the end. And is that hot glue gun hot enough? I'm going to show you now how to do it. Put an extra hot bit of hot glue in there just to sort of make sure it, there you go, Make sure it doesn't run out as I'm doing it. Right, so what you want to do is you want to get your hot glue gun. It's best to use one of these sort of like quite mini hot glue guns because it's got the little end on it. Easier to sort of get in there, some little projects like this, little jobs. What you want to do before I go hot glue in is you want to make sure you get that plastic bit right up against. Make sure it's nice and flat and in there. Sometimes it'll keep wanting to pop out, but you can sort of wriggle it about a bit and try and persevere. If you've got a mate, maybe you can hold it down with a little screwdriver or something. This one keeps popping out now, see, I'm going to try and get it to stay, because I want it right in its position, right flat up against the metal there, like, so I might be able to just hold it with my finger a bit. Yeah, that's easy enough. I can just hold it with my finger there. And what you want to do, give me a little screwdriver on there so I can use it as a pointer. What you want to do is you want to get some hot glue and put it right up. There's a little bit just against the side of the metal and up the side of the plastic there, just in that little corner bit, right up the side. Oh, my hot glue's going everywhere. Don't you hate it when you get one of those long tendrils of hot glue? Just following the glue gun across the table. Right, and now start at the bottom. Squirt a little as you're going up, squirt a little carefully, because you don't want too much when you're doing this. And if you look, see, I've just squirted a little line of it going up that corner. And you want to let that dry a little bit, give it a bit of a blow maybe. Just get it dry, and I'm holding it down because I want that to stay flat against the back, because that's the position that it's supposed to be in, and it's probably works better if it's flatter against the back. Now I got a tendency to touch the glue, and after time it's disaster, because then I end up having a big blob of glue, pulling all the glue off the project and off the job that I'm doing, and then ending up with it all on my finger instead. Now this is popping out slightly on this side, but I might not worry about it. I don't know. I can hold it anyway, can't I? If I get my thumb there, I can hold it sort of in the middle there. Fingernail. Might be a bit hard like that though. I want to sort of get it in a position where I can sort of get the glue gun comfortably. That feels comfortable to me. I could sort of start at the bottom again then, click down the stand. I can start at the bottom. Where is it? I've lost it. Lead my way up there and then sort of try and get the glue, not the got a bit of a tendril there that put it off. Don't matter. And there you go, my thumb come off, but I got time to push it back in because hot glue takes a little time to dry anyway. And just hold it in. All you've got to do is, as long as you don't get glue all inside the joystick and whatnot, you don't want to get glue in here, the moving parts of the joystick. You don't want to glue this little white bit down, but like I say, hot glue is it's a bit forgiving anyways. Most of the time, if you get it in the wrong place, you can pull it off again, but like I said, if you got it right down inside these joysticks, then yeah, I think that'll be a bit hard to get out, don't you? Anyway, a series dried. Oh, I don't want to touch him, he looks a bit wet. Give him a bit of a blow. There you go. And there you go, you've got the glue going up the sides of it. And now that should hold, don't want to push my luck, is it dry yet? That should hold that little piece of plastic in now and stop it popping out. So, job well done, I think. Maybe if you wanna, I don't know if you could probably get away with doing a tiny bit across the top as well. You've got to remember that this has got to go. We don't want too much glue everywhere, because you've got to stick the joysticks back on top of there, and all this has got to sort of fit back in place around it, so you don't want hot glue going too far afield, do you? There you go. And there you go, that's back in, and now hopefully that shouldn't really pop off there again unless the glue comes loose. And even if the glue comes loose on one side or the other and it still holds a little bit, then that probably will hold it on, because basically there's not that much force, it's just that little bit breaks at the top, and when you put it back in, it will stay in there a little while sometimes, but then it'll pop off. So That's just that extra little thing. If that little tiny piece of plastic would hold it on the top, then I'm sure this hot glue will. And I've also repaired another joypad like this, my son's joypad, and basically it's stayed working since, and that was months ago. That was last year sometime. So let's pop that back on, and that's it. Now you can turn off the hot glue gun, clean up the mess, and you're done. Put your joypad back together. And the other thing is, you should be able to take apart one of these if you've got. Most of the time, you need one of the special screwdrivers that open them up. I can't remember exactly which screws go in these, but I think it's the ones. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if you see that. These little hex top ones. They're like little hex stars. Some of them are a pain in the bum. They got like some metal sticking up in the middle of them too. I usually get a little screwdriver or something to snap them off sometimes. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you can get away with using, like on these little hex type shaped ones, you could sometimes use a super small screwdriver. One that you've got to get one that fits just right into the sort of hex shape. Sometimes you can get away with that just using a flat head or something to undo them. I've done it in the past when I haven't got like a hex one that size. And there you go, how to fix when you've got crunching under your joystick. So hope that's helpful to you. See you again in the next one, guys. So long.